Welcome to Leap Into Your Story podcast, where you discover your inner story, break down the process, and meet others who've done it so you can leap into your own story. We interview amazing guests who provide powerful insights that inspire you to get your story told. Be sure to visit our website at leapintoyourstory.com, and while you're there, subscribe and like us via your favorite social media network. Now sit back, get ready to take some notes, and let's get started. This episode of Leap Into Your Story podcast is brought to you by Leap Into Your Story course. Visit leapintoyourstory.com, where you have a guide to get your story told.
That the fiction niche in particularly is a very interesting place to discuss podcasting. Here's something that we often don't discuss, but it's a very real thing, is writer's block. Mm-hmm. Now, from my understanding, and I myself, I'm working on my first fiction novel in addition to my next nonfiction business book. One of the challenges I have is creating my story, to use your phrase, to leap into the story. Mm-hmm. A lot of times what I write for my fiction novel tends to read sort of like a Wikipedia article when I put it down the first time. Mm-hmm. It's that matter of creating the narrative, creating the campfire story, so to say. Right. And when do we do our best work in creating those types of stories that are narratives, that are conversational? It's when we're narrating and having conversations. This is why, if you're a fiction author and you want to accelerate your progress writing your book and getting into your story and creating those gripping narratives that keep the reader hooked, podcasting is a great avenue for two reasons. The first reason is it allows you to build a tribe around your story and engage with your audience. The second reason, and I've seen this happen so many times successfully, is you can actually create your book as a podcast and then have it transcribed and published. When you launch a podcast, it doesn't necessarily have to be something you do every single week. It doesn't even have to be something you commit to doing forever. I've seen a lot of great podcasts that were only on the air for one season, so to speak, say 10 or 15 episodes. The purpose of them was to get out a story. Sometimes it was a person speaking into the microphone extemporaneously. Sometimes they had a conversation partner, and that may be a way to go about it. If having a conversation partner and reacting to feedback from the audience helps you get your story out faster and in a more engaging way, that's a great way to do it. And I've seen in some fiction communities that folks will actually post their books in discussion forums, one chapter at a time, and then grow the story based on feedback from other readers. A podcast allows you the same opportunity.
I've been doing this podcast with authors, and I've been working with authors, and I'm seeing them making the mistakes I've made, and I've been seeing them struggling with branding. And I'm like, okay, I can help relieve this pain. I just need to get the program done. And so that's what I'm doing. And it's working. It's working, and it's awesome, and it's beautiful. And it's like, all you need to do is get these like 3 statements down, and it clarifies you so that you now know, I've got 10 ideas for a story or a book. Which one do I choose next? You match them up to your statements, and it becomes extremely clear which one's the right one to work on next. That's what branding does to you. It clarifies you. It gets rid of, it helps you prune so that your roses, your book roses can flourish. The author's journey. So that's the first question you asked. The second one was about the dream, which I guess you got off my writing website.
Yes.
I had, I had this dream, and in the context of the dream, I was going down the stairs of this old dark castle, and Frankenstein's monster was coming up, and he asked me, if you inspire, you expire, right? Because he was asking me, basically, if I choke somebody, they'll die. Because in the context of the dream, he wanted to go upstairs and choke this person who was in my dorm, not my dorm room, but my dorm hall. That was like the context of the dream, because this happened when I was in college. But when I woke up, I thought, what a cool statement, because it's so true. If you don't inspire, people don't remember you, and therefore you expire. And so I took it on as sort of my motto and my tagline, and I've used it ever since, because I really do believe that if you don't inspire some sort of reaction, engagement, emotion with your work, with your message, you might as well not even have it. I think it depends on the author. I mean, some authors I think are better served by sticking to one route. I was talking to, it was an episode early in August. The author had ideas in like 3 different genres, and he made the conscious choice, I'm going to do this genre now, because this one is going to get me the most traction now. And he's going to focus on it for a few years because he wants to make a name for himself. And then maybe later he'll branch out. But right now, this is what he's going to focus on. And he made that conscious choice. And it's a very, very, very niche audience. In fact, it's the kind of books I wouldn't read. It's very interesting, but it's not. Everyone has their cup of tea. That's fine. But sometimes you need to do that. You need to get really, really good at a micro niche, because you learn a lot. It's like some people will say, oh, well, I want to be a science fiction writer, so I will only read science fiction. That's a very bad thing to do, because then you become a crappy science fiction writer. You want to read broadly, but write narrowly, because how do you bring fresh insight into your genre if you're only reading within the genre?
Thank you for tuning into the Leap Into Your Story podcast, where you discover your inner story, break down the process, and meet others who've done it so you can leap into your own story. Remember to visit our website at leapintoyourstory.com and enjoy even more great episodes like this one. Again, while you're there, subscribe and like to us via your favorite social media network. We're looking forward to seeing you next time on the Leap Into Your Story podcast.